Welcome back everybody to Motorsport Manager, the single seater playthrough, and things are still looking up for us. We're just about to hit, well, we're roughly about halfway through the season. We will be at the beginning of this event, and fingers crossed it's going okay. I mean, Eka's second place in the championship, Dreyfus is in 6th. We don't expect for challenges for titles anyway, and I wouldn't want to. I think if we got promoted at this point it would be more of a hindrance than a bonus, to be fair, and that's good because Woodford is a long way out ahead in the Chariot Motor Group, and they are also leading the championship, but we are still P2 and we're still 10 points clear of that magical 6th place, which, let's be honest, would be an incredible finish for the first season in this championship. So we shall get on with the episode then and get everything ready for the next race. Gonna get some new parts underway. I was gonna just take a look at the tracks we've got coming up. So we've got Yokohama, everything's crucial there. We got Dubai, everything crucial, and acceleration not too useful at Rio de Janeiro. So basically everything is crucial for the next few races. I wish they'd be a little bit more in depth. When you're looking for this to see what kind of upgrades you can take, I suppose we can take a look at the track layouts-ish. Fairly long straight at Yokohama. Quite a few long straights at Dubai and Rio de Janeiro. So there's nothing we can really glean from that as to what we should be upgrading. So we either go sort of across the board improving stuff. I very rarely use this, to be fair. So we can see that we have pretty good front wings at the moment, 7th best on the grid. 8th place for rear wings and 9th for everything else, which gives us the 9th best car overall. So I think some new brakes. Let's keep developing these brakes. It seems to be our weak point. There's a lot of big stopping zones coming up well, there's always big stopping zones at every track, let's be honest. So let's just improve them as much as we can. Now, that'd be a big boost, but that's only during qualifying. I'm not particularly bothered about that. So I think we'll go for the plus 15 to max and plus 20. And we should get that built. Oh, we got an extra slot. Plus 40 during race. It's going to reduce the reliability, but we've got plenty of time in the season to get that part up to scratch. And we're going to have to wait one race for those repairs to be completed. I just want to take a look at our staff quickly. See, Wonder Adams is good, Ruby Smith's good, Tom Woodbridge isn't improving quite as quick as I'd hoped. But him and Dreyfus have had 65 weeks together. I don't really want to jeopardise that mid-season. We are actually in negotiations with someone. Have I forgotten about that? Well, let's see if that comes back to us. We might actually be looking to replace Tom already. And I've just completely and utterly forgotten it, which is very possible, let's be honest. Right, those car repairs are finished. Now, one thing that's pointed out by, I think it's Greg in the comments, which is a great point. This is a spec engine formula, but now with the weight stripping, we do have the opportunity to improve the engines. And because they start with such high reliability, it's not going to take much to get those up to 100. And they've been fairly reliable at 80%. So we could get it to 100 and then strip it back to 80, and we'll get a nice performance boost on our engines. But I don't think the AI will be clever enough to do. I don't know. I haven't done enough testing to see if the AI actually use weight stripping effectively. But it's all about where we can spare that reliability. So we can probably spare that gearbox and that rear wing. And then we'll try and make an improvement there. Those brakes could do a bit of an improvement, but we've got new brakes coming, so there's no real need to improve them. Front wings, yep, we're working on the new one. Suspension, I'm going to switch that over there. Performance, yep, we've still got nice gains to be made. Everything's going pretty swimmingly at the moment. Making some good progress. How did it ever take us 3 seasons? Well, I guess we did finish 6th or 7th, didn't we, in our opening year? So I guess it's not completely out of the question that we're doing so well here. I'm just wondering about who is this guy? We're not getting anything back. Do we make a counter offer? I might back down on him. I can't remember. That might be someone that we were looking at before Wander Adams and they asked for too much money or something. I think that might be what that is. So I won't worry too much about that. We'll think about replacing our other mechanic, but not just yet. Just seeing... I thought we had an upgrade going, but I think that's finished. Okay, let's stop worrying about all the small stuff. Look, I've been playing a lot of F1 2017. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying that content on the channel. And it's been a little while for the Motorsport Manager. Hopefully I'll be able to keep these episodes back up fairly regularly now. Slotting it in between the 2017 content. And whatever kind of content I feel like adding. I'm always going to be someone that plays a whole bunch of games. So... there's a lot of motorsport content, but there will also be some other games, some strategy games, some simulation games, some survival games, because I just like games. They're pretty cool. Right, we will go with the same formula as the last breaks and plus 40 to reliability, which means we'll be able to get it on the car a lot quicker. Because it will actually start at 80%. So that is a part that will be done in 8 days. So that will actually be ready for the next Grand Prix, which is pretty good. So these brakes are at 40. I'm not going to get them ready for the next race, so I may as well just continue with the suspension and just give that a few more points before we switch over to that brakes, which we'll do now. 76, that's better. It's only 1% really, isn't it? But you know what I mean. Right, and continue. Those other brakes are going to be done. We're going to be offered a vote again because of our preference. What were we, no, not X-Driver, like money person, which gives us this. I'm trying to think if there's anything that this would be worth £1 million for. Let's take a quick look. Hey, look, it's been a while for Motorsport Manager. Let's really get deep into this. Yeah. Where are the rules? Championships down here somewhere, isn't it? Standings. There we go. Current rules. Okay. High merit payments, rewarding the top teams at a greater rate than the smaller teams. I mean, that's rewarding when we get to the top, not great at the moment. We did talk about changing the top 6. The problem is it's working out so well for us at the moment. Do we dare change that? And is it worth £1 million? We could get rid of refueling. I don't see how it would benefit us particularly. We could make another part stock, which will help, meaning that there's one less part to... You know what? I don't think any of these rules are worth £1 million. The top 6 is what we were considering, but looking at the championship, it just means when we get those odd results and those great results early in the season, it just benefits us massively all the way throughout the season. If you start having the whole field or the top 10, then a few good results can easily be caught up by the midfield teams. As it is, I mean, four cars still haven't even scored a point yet. So, no. We said we'd think about it, we thought about it, we're not going to do it. Simple as that. Right, I think we will halt on developing any more parts just yet. And we will wait till we get our income from the next race. Just so we thought those brakes are ready to go. They could do a bit of an increase to performance though. I think I'm going to take it off this front wing and put it on to those new brakes and try and get them as high as possible. This always confuses me because the max of the good brakes have got a higher performance level, but the bonuses plus 40 deceleration during the race, so that should actually make it 502. Is that correct in the race? Same with this. I think that's how it works. This has switched again for some reason. Stop. Oh, it does this all the time. I'm not sure why. It suddenly thinks, no, we know better. We're going to split your engineers somewhere else. Pain in the fucking ass. Right. Simulator, no chance. I'm sorry. Do you think I'm made of money? If that's why you joined the team, I'm afraid you're gravely mistaken. Right, I think we're going to get one more warning about our money. What are you going to do? Nobody else would have got you into the big league. Wet weather training. I've got a chance to attend an intense wet weather training course next month, but it costs a pretty penny. Would you be able to foot the bill? It'll benefit. You know, Dreyfus is already very good in the wet. I feel this is the kind of thing that really could give us a point or two somewhere, and that could be crucial. I'm happy to do that. She's already great in the wet or changeable conditions. We've seen that throughout this career mode, so I'm more than happy to pay for that. That's giving you a +2 when it's wet in pretty much everything, so that's going to be really handy. And we are good to go then. For round number 6 in Yokohama, we will go for 10th or above just to get that money in the bank, hopefully. As for parts, I'll put the epic brakes on, but I don't think anything else is ready. We can give that to Eka to reward her for a good race last time out. And everything else is as it was. How do we do on those engines? They're up to 85%. We can probably do a click of one click of weight stripping then, which we will do. I'll probably do that in qualifying just so that you guys can see it. But I'm going to get practice underway now, and I shall join you for that all-important qualifying session. And just before I do, I've just realised heavy rain. Heavy rain. 500,000 well spent. Okay, I'll get practice done and be back with you for qualifying. Okay, so that's practice over with. 97% on both cars, so very good setups for the weekend. Should prove us in good stead. Let's take a look at that weight stripping then. So I'm thinking the 2 engines to start with. We'll just see how it goes. We can knock it down 5% to what we've been running all season anyway, and then we'll get that little +15 benefit to the engine. We could potentially do it to the gearbox as well. To be honest, I want to wait till it's a little bit higher. I know it's 1%, but 80% is the minimum I really want to run with before we start downgrading stuff. But a lot of parts are going to get pretty close to getting up into the 90s to 100% before we can replace the parts. So there's a lot of opportunity to use this. It's only a small gain, but it might, you never know, it might just make the difference to make that crucial overtake here and there. So we shall see how that does. So let's get going for qualifying then. I'm a little bit worried about rain later in the session, so we're going to send both cars out immediately. Qualifying was supposed to be wet, but of course it's only one session and it's only 10 minutes long, so that rain has got to be pretty soon. So we'll let both of them out pretty quickly and see what they can do. The volume seems to be very low. Bear with me momentarily. I don't know if that's just my headphones, or whether it's actually, it's probably because I'm zoomed out so far, to be fair, you idiot. But anyway, both our cars on their warm-up laps then. Good and overheated for Dreyfus, cold and overheated for Eka. That's not brilliant. Yeah, this is a little bit too loud now. I'm being a bit of a silly person. Let's put it back down to 19. I think it was still a bit quiet. No rain coming too soon, so no miraculous results because everybody is out on track. Incredibly congested track, to be fair. But I think everybody's going to get a dry lap in. But it does mean that these first laps are crucial, and that warm-up wasn't brilliant for Eka, so I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm a little bit conscious that we've spent so long in the opening part of this episode, so I'm going to try and keep it flowing as much as possible. As Dreyfus comes to the line then to do a 15.0, and Eka coming up to the line now, and she will do a 14.5. So despite a much worse warm-up lap, she's beaten her teammate by half a second, and that's a pretty stonking lap from the young lady right there. And there is that rain then, so we're not going to get a chance to do a second lap Those laps will count, and it looks like we're heading for the bottom of the table. No, there's definitely no chance of getting back out. It'll be too wet by the time we get there. Eka's good lap actually keeps her 16th, Dreyfus 20th. It's roughly what we've generally experienced most of this season. Hopefully we can race a lot better than we qualify. That's normally the case. I'm fairly confident it's going to be wet till the end of the session. If it does get dry, I'll let you know, but otherwise I shall see you for the race. Okay, so it did stay wet for the rest of the session then. So we will line up 16th and 20th for the race. It's going to start dry, but there'll be rain very quickly. I don't think anybody's starting on them. I really don't think we're going to get much benefit from starting on the intermediates. 2 completely bone dry laps, you would lose too much time effectively before it's ready for intermediates. So we shall start both cars on these soft tyres. We will go with... Now this is what Greg was also saying. Dreyfus has got engine expert. So maybe we can just give ourselves a little bit more. Let's go a little bit risky, shall we? Let's go down to 70% on Dreyfus. And we'll put that engine expert on. And we'll put race trim. We could also put Nurse to sort of double up on that. But no, I think we'll do that as it is. The other option was to switch engineers with Eka so that she eventually gets engine expert. But honestly, I think both our drivers are still pretty even, so I'm happy for Dreyfus to have that. And it's, you know, it's a lot of faffing about changing them over and getting them built up again. The engineers, right? Now this is a tricky one because you want to know. We want enough fuel to be able to go to any other tyre change, but we don't know far enough ahead to know what's going to happen. I'm going to kind of go middle ground. I'm going to go... what's the lifespan of the intermediates? 14 to 16. So if we expect about 3 to 4 laps on dry tyres, and then 15 to 16 on intermediates. So let's go 20 laps of fuel, and that should cover both, hopefully, is the idea anyway. And we'll do the same with Dreyfus. Maybe put a little bit more fuel in Dreyfus as she's starting at the back anyway. Just in case that allows her to go far enough into the race that we can get to a crossover point. But we'll go to push and high then on both cars, and we will be ready for round number 6 in Japan. And we are underway. We're going to go straight to 2 speeds. As I say, I want to keep this nice and brief. Well, not too brief, but you know what I mean. Oh, Dreyfus has made a mistake into turn 1. Just ran wide, lost a bit of time, but as is the way with this patch, she just catches up straight away. A little bit annoyed, but as it's our driver, I don't really mind about the issue. But Eka has made a stonking start. It's pretty chaotic into the bends. She was high as 6th then at one point, but she's now dropped down to 11th. So the rain should be coming in the next, by about lap 3 or 4. It's going to be coming down very heavy very quickly, so we need to make sure that we get in at the right lap. I think I'm going to go to attack on both cars, just because we're going to be on these tyres for such a short period of time. We may as well use the rubber we've got available, because we're going to be discarding them very quickly. Although it looks like it's going to stop again afterwards, but that looks like too much rain to stay on the dry tyres, I'm afraid. So I think we will be pissing for intermediates, just for that very brief period. And then by the look of it, we'll be coming straight back in again for dry tyres. So whether that's the right thing to do, we will find out, but I get caught out too many times trying to run the wrong strategy, and we need, especially on a wet day, we need as many opportunities as we can to get points. So Eka up to 10th. Our wet weather specialist, Dreyfus, is down in 19th at the moment. Here comes that rain then, so Eka will get first call onto intermediates. We'll leave the fuel as it is. What's it going to do? Still don't know. Still don't know. Eka will come in. Will we have time if we're not refueling? How long is a pit stop without refueling? Is 3 seconds. 6 seconds. Yeah, we should be able to pit both cars on the same lap then, which I think we'll do. We should be able to double stack them and be okay. We will go back to neutral as we come out of the pits to look after tyre temps, and I'm going to go back to medium to look after the fuel for the moment. In comes Eka, out she goes, perfect timing. Pit stop 6.2, Dreyfus 5.9. Great work, Tink. I'm sure the girls will buy you a drink after for that slick pit stop. And hopefully we can gain some positions here. I don't want to push too hard too early. To be fair though, it's a similar situation to the dry tyres. We're going to be getting rid of them pretty quickly, so I think maybe I will push. We need to keep an eye on that engine. Dreyfus has dropped 1% to 69, Eka to 75, so they look okay at the moment as Eka gets past the car's pitting, but she's come out just behind Lundvik, so it wasn't that much quicker, but this lap we should make big gains. As long as everybody does pit for inters this lap, which I still think is the right thing to do because it's too wet now. It's way too wet for dry tyres. Everybody coming in as expected. And we will see here how much time Eka has made up. Tyres are overheating. I'm going to go back to neutral. So Eka comes back out in 6th. There's only 2 cars ahead of her that haven't pitted though. And the 3 that are still out on dry tyres, if they drop behind us, they're going to be a lot slower this lap. So I think we're in a net 3rd position with Eka at the moment. And she just made a move for net 2nd in all that traffic of Leclerc going backwards with dry tyres. Dreyfus didn't make quite as big a gains. She's now in 14th. And we're going to be looking for those dry tyres again very soon. So there we go. Everybody's pitted. Eka in a net 2nd place then. Dreyfus not really proving that 500,000 was worth it. Although she is making progress now. She's up to 13th. Could do with a few more wet weather laps, but certainly keeps us on our toes. And the crossover back to dryers gives us another opportunity to make progress by outsmarting the AI, which is oh too easy to do. To be fair, I haven't got the option on that they've added with the free update to increase the AI's strategy ability. So should probably try that from next race onwards. Do we think it's too early for dries? Yes, I do at the moment. Eka coming under pressure from those cars she jumped in the pit stops. I'm still trying to work out. I think it's going to be another lap after this will be the optimal time. And the cars are far enough apart that again we might have to put a little bit of fuel in. Just so that we can last the length of the tyres. And I think we're going to go for the mediums, just so that we get as long as possible. That rain has stopped now then. I think we're going to gamble with Dreyfus. Let's put her in a lap early. Because she needs to make up some positions. She's going to have 12 laps of fuel in. These tyres will do exactly that, 12 laps actually. So no need to top up on fuel, and we'll make our final fuel stop at the end of that stint, and then Eka will bring her in on this lap. Let's go for the softs. Let's go aggressive with Eka. She's fighting with cars that are a lot quicker. She's going to need every tool at her disposal. They're going to last between 9 and 11, so let's put a couple of laps of fuel in just in case. And then we will be making one final stop, weather depending. Right, Dreyfus is in them. We're going to use some fuel and push on our outlap to make the most of those dry tyres. Although I think it's still a little bit too wet, but towards the end of the lap she might just make some gains. Leclerc still out there on the medium tyres. That's brave. That's really brave, I've got to say. We'll see if that pays off for Leclerc. Might gain a couple of positions, you never know. Eka in this lap, so everybody has stayed out on the intermediates. Dreyfus isn't really making inroads ahead, so it still might not be the right time. There was a mistake on Eka's car, unfortunately. There's just 6 laps between those two cars now, between our two drivers, so that was a pretty big mistake from the team. I missed that, but that's not going to help our chances all too much. But the AI are still staying out. Tyres overheating a little bit now. I'm going to go to conserve, just because we're going to be gaining so much time on the AI at the moment. It's going to be crazy. So I don't think we need to push too hard, and we need to get those tyre temps under control. If it's dry till the end of the race, we got one more stop to make after this. So let's look after the tyres a little bit. Let's just double check on the engines. 71.74, 64.79. So both cars looking okay, and I think Eka, oh, she didn't quite take the net lead of the race. She rejoins in third then, so she's not lost much ground. And these front 4 are quite a way clear of the rest of the field at the moment. Dreyfus did make some good gains though. She came back out in 10th. So there's still a chance for her to challenge for some points as well. But it's going to be very tricky to hold on if it stays dry for the rest of the race. Right, fuel looks okay. I think we can probably go to neutral on the tyres. We've got the temperatures under control. We will keep an eye on them, of course. And I think I will just go to medium fuel for the moment on Eka's car. Dreyfus, we should be okay. So let's speed it back up to 3 to save some time. And we'll keep an eye on the weather and our fuel loads. But there does actually look like some more rain on the horizon. So another good chance to make up some ground with good strategy here. Eka having another stellar race, I've got to say, at this point. She's actually made her way past Ribeiro, or it might have been Woodford who's been going backwards. So she's actually on the podium at the moment. So, but it's pretty clear Ribeiro, in dry conditions at least, look at that, almost a second quicker on that last lap. That's the kind of pace we're going to have to deal with for the rest of this race. So intermediate tyres are going to be required in a couple of laps. We should have the fuel to get there on both cars and the tyre life. And it's just about whether this is going to be another shower or a heavier downpour, and which tyres we're going to need. So tyres now overheating again, so we shall go back to conserve on both cars, just to keep them in that working range. It says going to be a short shower, is what it's looking like at the moment. Before I make the decision, could you mind, Dreyfus? I'm trying to talk here. I just want to see if it's going to continue getting wetter and whether it's worth waiting for wets. We've got a couple more laps to think about it. Our tyres are just about going to hold on. Again, both drivers, well, Dreyfus is going to need fuel, but we'll stack them anyway, I think. Just because Dreyfus is so low on fuel now. Actually, we should probably go back to medium just to maximise that. So the rain will be coming shortly, and it does look like intermediates. It looks like intermediates. Eka has actually gone backwards to 4th now. Dreyfus is going to have to pit this lap, unfortunately. So we'll put the intermediates on. We'll fuel her to the end and hope that she can get there on these set of tyres. Where is she on the track? Do you reckon if we go into lean mode, we might be able to limp round for one more lap? That would be asking a lot. It's just too early that she's going to burn up those intermediates and she's going to lose a lot of time. She's only got 0.84 left though. Let's add a little bit more fuel than that. Okay, we'll risk it. There's not much we can do really. Eka's run out of tyres as well, which doesn't help. But that rain is going to start coming down this lap, so we will pit her in now. Fuel her up. And everything looking okay on the car. It's a little early for our two drivers, but hopefully the AI will once again be late to react, and we will be able to make some gains later in the lap. The only thing I'd worry about with Dreyfus is whether she will burn up these tyres. Now the rain starts though, and Eka is in. One other driver, Moreno, has gone on to the intermediates. And hopefully this is where we can make up some time. So we're going to go to high and push. We will do the same for Dreyfus and hope that we can make up some time here. So a lot of those front running cars are in now, and we've lost a lot of time with Eka. A lot of time. But it was a catch-22 really. We were running out of tyres and she was going to go backwards on very warm rubber. So we just tried to get her in as soon as possible. Hopefully she'll gain a few more positions and we can still try and fight for some points. We're going to go back to conserve because these are overheating again pretty badly. And I think we're really out of that fight for points now. Although there's a big group of cars ahead of Eka and she's making some good progress now. Up to 9th place. She's being challenged again once down the inside. She can't quite hold on to it and she loses another position down to 9th then. Everybody's now pitted. And it's going to be intermediates till the end of the race. So, yeah, we've lost. I mean, we can still see 4th. 4th is still only 3 seconds away from us. So this could still close up. We got an awful lot of fuel to use still. With only 6.5 laps to go. Engine's looking okay. I don't want to go to overtake mode just yet. But we can do that. Towards the last few laps maybe. But we'll probably try and keep it on push. Dreyfus is now complaining about a front wing. Not much we can do about that. It should be okay till the end of the race. Eka has got past Vidal, although she's coming under pressure again. Dreyfus is down in 14th. And we've just lost the edge on this race. We've lost the edge on it by pitting a couple of laps too early. And that's sometimes the problem. Sometimes when you pit too early, you can sometimes... Well, sometimes you pit at the right time, but by pitting a few laps before the AI and getting that initial advantage, you then lose it if the cut-off point comes at the wrong time, which it did for both of our drivers. But Dreyfus is now up to 7th, and she can see Batista ahead for a solitary point. So let's see what she can do. She needs to put in some good laps now. Tyre life looking fairly good to those cars ahead of us. Vidal behind is still a worry. She or he is lapping an awful lot quicker than Eka. And she's got some problems with her brakes now. They're at 40%. I don't know why you're moaning. Stop whinging. 2 laps remaining. We can probably go to overtake now on both. There's no real point with Dreyfus. She's out of it, let's be honest. And Eka. Let's keep an eye on that gap then. 3 seconds ahead. That gap is coming down now that we've gone to overtake mode. And the field starts its final lap. We're going to go to push. We've got some tyre life left to use. Can she do this and get a crucial point? Gap down to under a second now. We're going to go back down to speed 1 for this final lap duel between Eka and Batista for a crucial World Championship point. She's cruised up to the back now. Just needs to pick her overtaking spot. Very tricky circuit this one. A lot of medium speed corners which aren't exactly bred for overtaking. She's running out of time now. She'll have one chance into the hairpin. What can she do? Not much. This almost seems super slow-mo, doesn't it, at this speed? Coming around the final corner then, it's not going to be enough. She hasn't quite got the speed to take 6th place, and P7, as we found out so many times before, is the most gut-wrenching position of this season. It's so near yet so far. Once again, as we come 7th with Eka, and less than half a second away from a crucial point. I feel a podium was on the cards today. If we'd managed the strategy a little bit better, we might have stood a chance, but it was just that early stop onto the intermediates, and as I say, it's a knock-on effect from pitting so early onto the dry tyres. That gave us a big boost, pitting so early, but it also meant that we didn't quite get far enough for that final crossover point. So, yep, I feel we could have had Eka higher up in the points in that race, and Dreyfus could have been nicely into the top 10. You live and learn. Those are probably the most tricky type of races. Look at that. Dry, wet, dry, wet. Changed conditions twice during the race. Well, 2 sets of 2 conditions. 3 pit stops for everybody. Apart from Leclerc, who actually made that strategy work pretty well. Staying on those medium tyres all the way through kind of worked out. 16th's not bad considering. But it's disappointing, really. 7th. We've still got a good pace in the car, though. That's what I'm happy about. And I think there's good gains we can make. This weight stripping is definitely a great idea. And if we can get some of the other parts that we're not going to be replacing, or the stock engines, if we can get them all up to 100%, then there's big gains we can make there. So hopefully next time out we will continue to improve. We need to get a few more points on the board. I actually skipped straight past the championship results there, so apologies for that. We'll take a look at them quickly. 154,000 in the bank. Again, we're just not quite making enough money at the moment, which is a little bit worrying. But here we go then. Eka drops to 4th. Dreyfus drops to 8th. But we stay 3rd in the championship. But that 6th place of Ruiz is now just 8 points away rather than 10. So we've lost a little bit of ground, and Boa and Team Kirov are coming hot on our heels very quickly. But if we can get some points in the next couple of races, we might be able to stem that flow, hopefully. But yeah, it's so disappointing sometimes. You work that whole race and you come within a few tenths of getting points, but 7th, you may as well be last. You may as well. Apart from the chairman and sponsors, there's not really much benefit to that. I'm going to have to take another look over our finances, because we seem to be losing more and more money each race. We started with a pretty hefty positive at the beginning of the season, and we're now making about 100,000 per race, and this means that we can't really keep up this pace of development, and we really need to if we're going to get that 6th place. So we've got the finances screen there. I'll take a more in-depth look at it next time. But if you guys want to have a look through that now and give me some help and advice next time, pause it and take a look through. I will ever be thankful. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're enjoying the F1 2017 content as well. I'm presuming there's going to be some crossover between you guys that watch this and you guys that will watch that. There'll be plenty more of that to come this week, and Motorsport Manager, we should be back in the swing. GT Series will come back again in a couple of days. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd be amazing. Keep up to date with new Motorsport Manager content and F1 2017 content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.